I'm in the National Studebaker Museum. This is a place that my grandpa actually told me about a long time ago. And I don't know if the Studebaker was made in South Bend, Indiana, and that's why the museum's here, or what. I don't remember that part of his story, but I always thought I would come here because my grandpa told me the Studebaker started with this covered wagon, then this, the horse-drawn wagon, then this, the buggy, and then on to Studebaker's. I am actually behind a really great senior citizen group tour, so I'm going to let them pass, and then I will look around some more. So it is amazing to me, Studebaker did start out with making the horse-drawn wagon, and then got involved in the automobile, which is an amazing story that their line of cars, the line of vehicles, has gone far that back, and it makes me wonder where Ford started. And yes, I'm headed to Michigan, so I will find out. But dang, these are beautiful. I would feel fancy driving around in that. And then look at these over here. Just super cool. Man. And I don't know if you could hear in the background, but the tour guide taking the senior citizens around is telling a story about how Studebaker would only sell to the Republican presidents. I think that's funny because I would think you would just want to make money any way you can. But these are beautiful vehicles, and maybe they took that much pride in them. And look at that. That's a hearse. That is freaking amazing. It is so beautiful. Could you imagine hearses in our day looking like that? Now they just look like a station wagon. Nothing fancy. I actually think that those, I just totally lost my train of thought. Funeral homes. Funeral homes should have like a nice hearse instead of just a plain black car going by, because you need to celebrate people's lives, not just say, okay, we're going to put on a black dress, a black suit, and watch them go out. No. People had lives, and their lives had character. So, I don't know, in my mind, their funerals should have character. I've said it before, I love reading the stories in this museum. So Studebaker did think about moving its production of automobiles to Detroit, but it ultimately decided to stay right here in South Bend, Indiana. So the Studebaker is from South Bend. But more importantly was even back in the day when Studebakers were being built, women were employed in their factories. Women were like a major production of their workforce. And that was almost not heard of back then. Which might be why these vehicles are so beautiful and have so much character and are so well taken care of. I don't know. Some man who watches this video might get mad. I don't know. But look at this vehicle. I couldn't imagine driving this around right now. It would be so awesome. Just beautiful. Just beautiful cars. I also learned is that Studebaker actually started with the electric car. It wasn't until the early 1900s that they started making gasoline cars. I think it's really interesting that so many things start out one way and then end another way, because the electric car has been coming in and out of production for as long as I can remember. I wonder what the glitch or the hang-up is. Anyway, we're going into the next gallery, but that was beautiful. I love it. It needs to be remade in today's kind of car, and a 4-seater. And I would buy one and drive it around. If, of course, I could afford it. Because I'm sure if it was made by one of the high-end people, I couldn't. But look at these cars. These kind of designs need to come back. They are super cool. I mean, how many people have a trunk like that now? Not many. And look at how beautiful the inside is. They do have seats like that in the back still, but they don't have seats like this in the front that I've seen in a long time. Ooh, I really like this one too. Well, it needs 4 doors though, but it's cool. I guess back then they didn't have 4 doors on many things. Oh, there's the Arizona plate car. I gotta show you how plain the Arizona plate was. And I really, really like the trucks because I like the bubbly look of cars. Maybe I just like bubbly cars. This car right here has an Arizona plate on it. And this car is the only car in here that looks remotely banged up. But also look, it's got a table inside and a side chair. So there's the driver chair, the passenger chair, there's a side chair, and a table. That is pretty cool. And it is called the 1935 Stout Scrap. I don't know how to say that. Oh, it was the brainchild of William Stout, so they named it after him. Oh, it apparently has a couch in the back to lay on, too. This could be like a modern day van life car. Could you imagine living the van life in this? Oh my gosh. That'd be awesome. See, Arizona 40, PKW-1, Grand Canyon State. This is the only car that looks remotely used in here. The rest are all shiny, all kept up. This one's got some dings and stuff. And I don't know if you noticed, but you see very little door handles on here. Like this one doesn't have any door handles. And that one has them like sunk in. I actually really like that style, and yeah, I know they sink some in now, but not like that. And then these ones have the regular old-fashioned truck handles, but I really like this car. That is pretty cool. I'm gonna stand back and take a picture. Oh, there's a little doorknob. Huh, now I see it. This one's my favorite. This is a car, but it's a truck, but it's a car. So this is the back end that looks like a truck. And then there's the side that looks like a car. And I'll go to the other side so you can get more of the car feel for it. But I think this thing is adorable. There, see? It looks like a car, but it's a truck. This would have definitely been my vehicle back in the day. I wonder how much it costs compared to, you know, income sort of thing. I know, I'm always thinking of that kind of stuff. But it's cool. I'm taking a picture. I wish I could get the whole thing in my picture, but I can't. It's called a 1941. Oh, let me move this. 1941 Champion Coupe Delivery. Oh man, it was a work truck to deliver stuff. That's crazy. I would still like it. In the basement of the Studebaker Museum, where they have some of the older vehicles and machinery that have been donated to them, that they are either displaying as is or are currently working on restorations. And this is a U.S. medics truck.
Joe McCoy, could you call the gift shop, please?
Medic
Joe
wagon
McCoy,
from
call
back
the
in the
gift shop.
day. Isn't that cool? This looks like some sort of cannon. This one actually doesn't have like a label thing. Oh, it actually says it's a water cart. I didn't see that before. All these things are made by Studebaker. But look at that. So that would be the medic wagon that would have came out during the war to rescue a soldier. That is cool. And then look at this, and look at how tiny they are in the seats. That shows you how small people were back then. That's pretty neat. Oh wow, that looks like an old oxygen mask. Huh. A canteen and some military dishes. This is pretty cool. But could you imagine? That's where the soldiers were transported, in these covered wagons. And then look across from me. Look at all the cars on those lists. They have all been donated to this museum. And some of them are finished being, programmed into the database and set up for display, but most of them they said aren't. The bottom one is a 1962 sedan phototype Stevens Studebaker. The top one does not have a label yet, but it does have a Studebaker tag on the hood, so it is a Studebaker. Look at that one. That's one of the newer Studebaker labels. That might be post-bankruptcy label, because they did change their label a little bit. That one's missing its hood covers. One's on top. That is cool. It would be cool if they get a bigger showroom, floor room, but I'm sure they want to stay downtown here to be able to display this. Oh my gosh. Look at that one. That looks like it was made into a demolition derby car. And that's another wagon that shows a picture of what it used to look like. Oh, this was from the 19... So this one that's all banged up, that has a steering wheel in the trunk, by the way, is a 1951 Commander. It's from the Muppet movie. That's kind of cool. Oh, and there's a picture of it. This is so neat. I just don't know which side to look, the military side first or the car side first, so we're just going to go back and forth. It's another water cart. The phone's acting a little weird again. That looks like it was a tank. Oh, it was. Look at that. Studebaker made an army tank. That's a tank. That's a picture of what it looked like. It's so small. I don't even know how people could be protected in that. Crazy. Well, this is a pretty car too. Champion Series 90. Did you know no new automobiles were built after January 31st, 1942, as the industry converted entirely to war production? Wow. Look at that Jeep. And those back there I still see on the road today. Actually, in Arizona. There's a mailman car. So what happened was when Studebaker started building automobiles, they didn't just stop building the wagons. They just converted to different departments and different industries, which would make you think it would increase their survival. Like they had a wagon production, then they had automobile production, then they had the work vehicle production, then they had the military vehicle production. It's amazing all the different things they built. And it's got me more and more curious about Ford too, and what they built. I don't know. And I don't know what led into the bankruptcy. Because they had, like I said, they had record sales. But Studebaker did struggle with bankruptcy. It appears several times. Look at this work truck. That's probably equivalent to the Mack truck of today. Oh, geez. Look at that. And that's what it looked like. Just so cool. That's up there is how they worked on some of the model cars in the factory. Just making white shells. Oh, this one was on the road as recent as 2002. Live Free or Die, New Hampshire. It's a 1959 Lark. Oh man, this is cool. Look at the front of this truck. And I wish you could see the back, but it's a truck back there. But the front has this complete square face. I actually like that. It's cool. And it doesn't have like a name or a label plaque. It has a picture of part of the prototype. 1964, Studebaker proposed the 1967-69 vehicle line. Brooke Stevens. But it doesn't say anything about it. Up at the top is a Studebaker that somebody tried to repair with wood. That says it's a 1964 styling buck. Was used as a foundation for modeling new style proposals. The buck refers to the lath structure which holds the modeling clay in place. Oh, that's interesting. And this is the back end of what looks like a Studebaker station wagon. Oh, and here's another vehicle like the ones out front. The bottom one doesn't have a sign yet, but the top one is a Skyview station wagon. I was right. Woohoo! Oh, and here's a different Studebaker label. That's the other thing, they change their label quite often. Oh, that bottom one doesn't have a sign either, but it's a beautiful colored car. Look at that top one. I can't see it all the way around. Huh. That's the other thing. Do you see all these unique and pretty colors that they had for cars back in the day? Now everything seems to be silver and white and gray and black. And if you suddenly see an orange car, it's kind of cool. These two have no labels, but they do have the Studebaker S. This is pretty neat. Oh, that one's got the girl on it. That's one of the older ones.